Hello class. Today I'm going to be talking about standardized testing. So have you all ever taken a standardized test? And I assume the answer is yes. You have to have taken a standardized test to get this far, and you probably might have more on the way before you're done. So my question to you is, did you enjoy the experience, and do you feel like it properly evaluated your performance? I'm going to guess the answer is no, but let's move into the argument. So, the standardized testing has created ironically, has created a hostile environment for learning, which its intention is the exact opposite. Students should not be limited by a test written by somebody that they'll never meet. Rather, they should be limited by their own effort and their own creativity. So standardized tests fail to properly measure performance, and they also create negative impacts through their application. And they are not even effective at improving performance, as we'll see in our later examples. So let's see how they fail at measuring student competence. Standardized tests are ineffective as they do not properly ascertain a student's ability due to inherently flawed testing techniques. So an argument in favor of standardized testing is that it provides a broad understanding of how schools and students are doing using advanced measurement techniques. However, the actual reality of this is that it fails in several areas. According to Gerald W. Bracey, standardized tests measure only a portion of what makes education meaningful. A quote from him is that he says several different disciplines that fail to reach the sphere of standardized testing. And among these are creativity, critical thinking, resilience, motivation, persistence, curiosity, endurance, reliability, enthusiasm, empathy, self-awareness, self-discipline, leadership, civic-mindedness, courage, compassion, resourcefulness, sense of beauty, sense of wonder, honesty, and integrity. All of things that can't be measured by a simple standardized test that you'd use a Scantron on. Second, standardized tests are unreliably in measuring student performance. A 2001 study showed that 50 to 80% of year-over-year test scores improvements were temporary and caused by factors outside of the control of the schools. And this is not a good thing because if your measurements change from year to year due to outside factors, then what's the point of the measurements? Also, the multiple choice format of the tests creates a mentality of there's only one right answer and the rest are wrong answers, and doesn't add to the exploratory feel of how actual academics are pursued, where there are many different theories on what could be the truth or what could be the most accurate, and the different theories will compete to see which one comes out on top. But in standardized testing, there's only one correct answer. All the others are wrong. And even if the student has a very important debate, a very big debate in their head, if they choose the wrong answer, then they're wrong. Let's move on to the negative impacts created by standardized testing. A popular counter argument to the negative impacts created by this standardized testing practice is that standardized testing is done in many other fields, such as with the DMV, you have to take a standardized test in order to get your license. But the fact that this is taking place in schools makes it a unique experience and has unique negative impacts on society. Because children are growing up when taking these tests, the stress from the tests really piles up on them. So one of the studies done in 2009 by the Alliance for Childhood said that time for play in most public kindergartens has dwindled to the vanishing point, replaced by lengthy lessons and standardized testing. And so kids that were normally playing during recess now were brought in more and more often to prepare for standardized tests. Additionally, due to the problems with the multiple choice that I mentioned earlier, the kids don't have creativity these days, where they will they think of things in the black and white of there's only one right answer, and they don't explore the other options. And needless to say, on the Stanford test packets, they actually have instructions for what to do if a kid throws up on the test. And I think that's indicative of how stressful these tests are for the students involved. And finally, by their own metrics that the tests have set out for themselves, they fail significantly. A good example is Finland. Finland topped the charts for their school performance, and yet they don't use any sort of standardized testing techniques, and they even make fun of the practice. Standardized testing has actually not improved student performance. After No Child Left Behind was passed in 2002, the United States slipped from the 18th in the world, best in the world in math, to the 31st best in math in 2009. So standardized testing has actually negatively impacted. So let's review. Standardized tests are ineffective at measuring. They create many negative impacts, and they're also ineffective at increasing in performance as well. The practice of standardized testing has been ingrained in schools across the United States, and this has had several negative repercussions on the school system overall. For an improvement to be made, this practice must be curtailed strongly. Thank you.